Hello everyone, welcome back to another speed run. I apologize for the voiceover work that I did in the last one. Uh, that is a fantastic example of the power of my medication. The day they did that, I was still dealing with side effect leftovers from a muscle relaxant pill that I sometimes take.
Welcome to the single player
on top of the regular pain medication, which also makes me tired. And ooh, that day I had 2 liters of green tea that I had made, and it wasn't enough caffeine through the day. At any point I could have gone to bed. That's how tired I was. And the thing is, even if I had gone to bed, slept for like 4 hours, gotten up, in like an hour's time, I'd be tired enough to go to bed again. So, yeah. It's like, well, why don't you wait until, you're not tired to do that? I am perpetually tired. I have to fight against it just to get the few hours a day I do get. Really, my day doesn't start until like 11 o'clock noon, and then I'm in bed by 10:30, or at least I try to be. So it's not very much of a day that I get to have. It's tough, but honestly, I am very thankful for the medications I have. Without them, without just the basic pain one, which is meant as an antidepressant, but it targets lower back nerve pain, which is perfect for me. Well, at least for some of my pains. So I take that, and it makes me tired, and to build up medication, I have to not stop taking it. If I do, I get to the point where I can't walk. No. Who knew? So let's forget about that, and my apologies for the last one. Hopefully this one will be a bit better. The map we just did is the typical first one that I do, headed up towards the spaceport. That hasn't changed. Ooh.
For much of the Dark Crusade, great fleets plied the orbital lanes above the battlefields of
I guess I should mention that if I do certain things that stimulate my brain in the right way, I'm able to fight through that tiredness to a degree. Video games help some. The big one is like if I'm able to use my hands, so I'm doing something physical. But yeah, I'm just moving fingers and my hands around for playing a game, but it helps stimulate the brain.
But we require more of them.
So it's yeah, that's why I like to do the models, and if I can do the models, it goes a long ways to helping.
The scarabs are analyzing the human hybrid, but we require more of them. That human is a crude melding of flesh and metal.
I'm not too sure this strategy hasn't changed at all.
Bring it to the monolith.
I could improve the positioning of the elite unit for getting to the next servitor.
That human is a crude
But
melding of flesh and metal.
that one, that doesn't matter in the time. The big one is this one. How could I improve things? Maybe if I was to possibly jump here and get rid of anything that may take the servitor, if I'm able to, before the servitor gets here, that might help with this. Like, the only reason I'm fighting them is because of the servitor. Keep losing control of it.
The human hybrid, but we require more of them.
And here we're going to lose control again. Now, I do believe I mentioned in the last one that you don't want to attack the unit. Instead, what you want to do is follow the servitor. Like, this is a bad one. Losing control this bad. But yeah, the more you lose control of the servitor, the more time you need to spend, and of course, time is our enemy in a speedrun. I'm not close enough to take control of that, and that's a mistake. I shouldn't care about destroying that. But now we're gonna lose. Like, I'm really struggling with this one.
Flesh and metal, but it contains valuable information.
There's a certain time frame where the servitor cannot be taken control of by a unit. And it's that I'm trying to defeat. At this point, it is the elite that should probably get the last servitor if I have them in the right position. Not 100% sure. Just so focused on trying to make sure. But that's one reason why it's a good idea to send yeah, we got it. So this one we couldn't get at all. It worked against us. But to sending our elite unit to get that to get a total of 3 is what is needed as a backup, as a contingency plan for that.
Although the local workers never realized it, the mines of Cronus.
Somebody asked me a question in the Discord that I hang out in. Oh, what are you up to? Doing voiceover. Yeah, you know, I think from this point forward, I have to say about this map, I really enjoy doing this map. Even if things get a little wonky, I enjoy doing it. Get the monoliths into, I put both as group 2. Excuse me, and get them both moving in the same location. And when they reach more or less, well, I could do it now actually, but when they both reach a certain point, I divide them up, and they move so slow I don't have to worry. And I'm mostly working with this group here. Now, That that outpost, or whatever it's called. I take care of it by getting the 2 squads of immortals to attack it from up there on the ridge. And immortals are good at doing good at doing damage to buildings and vehicles. They do good damage against other units, but they're designed more for the other 2. Now, last night, I did do a speed run. My husband wasn't home, so I was able to use the voice. And I changed this. I tried, instead of going up here, I would go down. Like, I reversed the position. Instead of going up into that round central circle, I would go down along that path, and I found it to be a little bit better because I wasn't struggling with all these units that was coming from that southern corridor. It needs further testing to see if it is a good choice or not. But I think it's overall it is a better choice. So it's like I send it down there, clear out the left-hand southern passageway there, and then I head up into this central part here and take everything out. I think it works rather well. Excuse me, frog and throat. I think it works rather well. And I don't have to deal with this stuff, which is problematic. Or even if I have to deal with a tiny bit of it, it's nowhere near as bad as what it is here, which divides the force, slows things down. It's just a little bit of frustration. So we'll see how things go. Doing it just once doesn't determine if that is a good strategy or not. Doing it a dozen times and it gives you positive results, I'd say that makes a strategy. Or at least the positive results that you're looking for. Let's put that caveat in there. Because maybe you're not looking for that and you don't mind what's happening when stuff comes up there and you take out the center. So it is best to be a little bit flexible in the statements. Definitely. Now, I have changed things to a degree where I'm using a command that is beneficial, especially for a map like this, where you just need to go down and you have to kill the enemy troops, because if you try and circumvent them or ignore them, they're going to cut your forces down. So taking them out is almost it's pretty much a necessity on this map. Other ones, it really depends upon the situation, I feel. So the command I started to use is the attack command, A, which means that the group will attack everything that comes into range, and they will attack the first closest thing, then the next closest thing, then the next. So when you have troops come in, they're going to hit the troops. When you have buildings come in, they will hit the buildings. And you can select spots where you're slightly guiding them, and it ends up being rather effective. In the sense that you can take everything out in the path, and through these more, they are very wide, but for the purpose of the size of this group, it's narrow. When you use the attack, they kind of spread out and quite easily engulf everything. So that attack command is, in my opinion, quite beneficial. The monolith there, I'm using the attack command, and I clicked on more of the upper corner. I think the better position is to click on the area that is behind the base. And the reason for that is you will attack everything to the south and everything to the north and wipe it all out. And that's what you want. So instead of having, you know, it's like, oh, I'm going more north, and then I'll have to redirect to get to the south, or the monolith can just slowly move to the east in that central spot there, this area here, and take everything. No big deal. It doesn't slow the monolith down either way, but what it does for you is you don't have to worry about redirecting. Making sure that it will get to every building that it needs to get to. And that becomes very beneficial for time's sake. It's, oh, I'm going to pull on an infomercial here, is you set it and forget it. I actually have to set up and move it down. Well, that means I had to spend the time to do that to the unit. If I didn't have to do that, then who cares, you know? Dun 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 dun. Yeah, okay, so down there is done. Like, it, again, it doesn't take much, but it's I don't know if you can say that it saves time per se, but what you can say is I don't have to worry about it, I don't have to focus on it, I can just set it up, leave it, and it will do the job. And it will do the job efficiently. And that is something very beneficial. We just have one left, and it's that one there. I could speed it up by ignoring that spot there by however many seconds it took to destroy it. I do feel that that may be important. See, last night I had some fantastic RNG and I was able to break the 2-hour mark. But I'm not uploading the video until I get all this backlog done. Because again, I want to show the progression. But I did my goal and I'm thinking, will those few seconds matter? And since I broke the 2-hour mark, I now think, yeah. At that point, yeah, I do not know how much faster I can improve time. But looking at, I can shave off 3 seconds here. Well, it's kind of a viable thing. So yeah, now I was taking a look also last night at speedrun.com, and much to my surprise and joy, absolute joy, there are some new entries in the destroy all stronghold category, one that I'm not doing. And now Imperial Guard has a time from 11-12 days ago or something. Chaos has 2 times now, and I'm really happy to see that. That's also just from a handful of days ago, and I'm just so happy that there are some more times, that some people are putting times up. It's a wonderful thing to see. Tau still does not have any times in the destroy all strongholds. 100% these runs. No times on any of them. And any percent? 1? Necron only? Yeah. Now, I did upload, it has gone live, I think, the video. I do not know if or it's going to go live, if it is acceptable. Yay, defense success. But I do feel that I've changed this, by the way, in my last night's one. I'll explain what happened there.
Thriving industrial center. By the beginning,
I do feel something. I feel all warm and happy inside. I honestly can't remember. I don't know. Anyways, sorry. I think I need to change what I'm doing here. I don't know, I'm kind of playing with a few things. Last night, what I did do, I'll talk about that, because I completely lost my train of thought. What I did was I went spaceport, then I went forward base, then I went Fury. So when I took Fury, I got a second turn, and then I hit this. Now, I don't know if that is what I want, because destroying everything on the map is how you defeat to get the other win condition. The strength of the map ends up being it has 2 bases, which slows things down. So I'm not entirely sure how I want to proceed there. If I want to go to spaceport, forward base, do the energy, because we are going to have excuse me. Yeah, teleport them back and then attack there. Perfect. Because we're going to have more things to kill. We're not going to have as many elites because I'm jumping from special land to special land, basically. That was pretty quick, only having 1 base. If I was to do maybe the forward base, energy, and then Fury, that might be better. it's kind of a tough call. Not sure yet. But one thing is for sure is the spaceport, then forward base. That one, it seems to be the best combination because the spaceport allows you to go where you want right away. You don't need a path. You don't need to worry about any of that stuff. Instead, you only have to worry about you only have to worry about brain. How about you work for me with this? Come on. Nope. Okay, yeah, that's it. With the spaceport, you only have to worry about setting yourself up to get to the strongholds. The best positioning that one can hope for is grab the land on the first move of your turn that's right beside the stronghold, and then on the second move go into the stronghold and take it. That way the enemy, the race, does not have a chance to counter you taking that. And we lost morale, so we're doing a lot of damage. And when I say a lot of damage, I mean nothing. I'm going to use the flayed ones to get rid of the Imperial Guard. Or the Guardsmen. Sorry, they're called Guardsmen. And my voice is a little raspy today. I wish I had some honey for my tea. That would be very helpful. I don't have any. There we go. Now, something that I'm not doing here, which I need to do desperately and consistently, is on this land, reinforce. Spend the requisition, reinforce, so that the enemy doesn't attack. Now, I did do that eventually because I kept forgetting to do it. I did eventually do it in last night's speedrun, and I only ended up with one defense, and it was not at the it was not at the spaceport. That's the word I want. That makes a huge difference. Here, I'm looking for something. There we go. And I have the glue. So yeah, see, I'm starting to feel a little bit more tired than what I was from doing this. So I'm going to grab the wrong baggie, apparently. Where's the other one? There we go. Okay. These are the same ones I was working on from the last video. My thumb is doing better. It's interesting that the maps vary in size. I really do like that, because it completely changes how you would go about playing the game as intended, or speedrunning it. It really does change, and that's completely broken. Arg. Get some glue on that. So, because I have the flayed ones there, I do not have to worry about grenade launchers. Our Lord will take care of things. I do not have a hard pattern. I'll do it that way. A hard pattern of for the entire run. That is of hit this, then hit this, then hit this, then hit this. No. Instead, it is.
Upon arriving on Cronus, General
it
Lucas
changes.
Alexander became Governor Militant and set.
And I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that is bad.
Are here. Drive them back to their tombs, men.
It is your men who go to their tombs, Governor.
I'm not entirely sure. And glue bottles, stop blowing bubbles. Seriously, it's blowing bubbles as I'm trying to squeeze the glue out. Okay, too much glue, but I'll work with it. There we go. Hopefully that'll work. Now I don't know if I got it here, but I'm going to keep saying it. 2 flayed ones, and the Lord is plenty for this map. You can get away with 1 flayed one for sure, but 2 would be better. See, I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. What I need to do is have that first building, get the flayed ones going, and take the Lord and head to the enemy base right away. I don't need to do anything else. I just need to do that. So it's like any elites, put them into position to deal with the starting attack that the Imperial Guard do. Get the construction of the flayed ones going and move the Lord out.
The enemy in my sights.
Jumping at these
Hold the enemy back,
locations.
no matter the cost.
And you got it. And this is probably the easiest one to do.
Liberators, the enemy has made it
In
to the northern
my
shore.
opinion.
Redeploy to drive them back.
That was a really good job.
Nightbringer has come for you, Governor.
I have found that I want to stick the Lord towards the back of the base,
Much fear,
along the tree line,
so much noise.
and the flayed ones will take the brunt of all the fire, and as long as we keep our morale up, it doesn't matter. You know, damage. So since the Imperial Guard only needs 2, and you can get away with 1, but only needs 2 of Blade ones? I feel that should be the first race that you go after, and that way you do not have to worry about getting the land that gives the population bonus. When you get the population bonus for the Necrons, instead of starting at 8, you start at 12, thereby giving you the ability to produce 4 flayed ones. You want to have that land to make things a little bit easier for Chaos, the Chaos Stronghold. I'm just hanging on to the piece that I just glued that was broken. Such a thin piece. Just want to make sure that it is securely attached. Remember that turrets do a phenomenal amount of morale damage? Well, not really phenomenal amount, but enough that it is problematic if you don't get rid of them. For the hell of it? How about for the halibut? I don't have any fish in the freezer, so we're gonna go with halibut today, because I really would like some fish and chips for dinner, but I can't. See, this is another defense. Obviously, the more defenses that you do, the more time it adds. I was saying that, 3 is good, 5 is terrible. I think that I'd like to change that statement so that it is more 1. If you're going to have any, have just 1. Any more than that, and it is going to hurt. Going to hurt your time. You don't want that. Bum, 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 bum. I just realized the fan's on. I didn't turn it on. Sushi hit some buttons last night because she was jumped onto it, and I think she turned on the feature that put it on timer, and just this morning it kind of went, I'm gonna turn on now. Thanks, Sushi. Some of this building is just busy work. It's not necessary. Obviously, I was unsure about that. Oh, this is a fantastic map. Here you do want to have some defenses if you are forced to defend against a counterattack. You really do want to have something in place if you're not going to have your elites present. For whatever reason, you're not in the area, what have you. Because if they attack with a high enough number, you're getting swarmed by 2 players. Nowhere near done. In terms of how fast. Although... Oh, so close, you know? So close. They haven't gotten Fury yet, and that is a mistake.
The Space Marines of the Blood Ravens chapter were well entrenched in their castle.
Death has come for you.
There is,
We are the Emperor's finest.
a
We will
change.
not fall to you, alien.
I bring,
Is inevitable. Submit
with the forward base, the top one there. I forget the name of it, but that's where you can kind of get like bonus relic powers, the Necron Lord. And the purpose of that is to get the power of phase shift. By getting phase shift for this map, for the Tau, and for the Orcs, it seriously helps and speeds things up. I also found a power that absolutely devastated the person that you need to kill in the Tau one. It's like, I'm getting that from now on. I'm like, wow. I saw the life basically go from nearly a full green bar down to like 5% or something like that on the Arnell leader. Oh, it's just 1 hour that did that. It's like, oh my god. As long as you can hit with that power, that is probably a must strategy at this point for that map. Okay, it doesn't take too much. See, going through here, if you watch on the minimap, you got the green dot, but you just start seeing all this red. And some of the units there are really powerful.
This fight isn't over yet.
But
So
life is.
yeah, it's kind of, yeah. I've had some very bad luck at this one. This one seems to be okay. But it's those assault terminators there. They can just rip through everything. Really, the key there is do not let... do not let how to word this? Do not let your lord be close to some of those units to try and survive as long as possible against some of the more powerful units there, like the Assault Terminators. Instead, let the Flayed ones get hammered into the ground and use that to allow your Lord to fight and get ahead. Do a lot of damage. Hopefully that'll work. And I was semi-distracted because I was gluing down a model piece for the sentry guns. So having the like there, the phase shift ability, the Wraiths have it, was very helpful. Can't attack at the moment. Now having those elites and just dividing up and being able to take out 2 players is extremely beneficial for obvious reasons. You know, you're not spending time. I could probably get the Lord up here, but you're not spending time like sending your Lord after one player and then sending your Lord after the other player once the first one's destroyed. This way you start working on both at the same time, and it's far more efficient. Of course, that works best when you have some elite units and you can pull that off. Maybe with the jump ability, teleport, sorry. The Lord could have gotten there before we won. But yeah, you saw that we pulled that off pretty good, in my opinion.
Summoned the Black Apostle.
Soulless automatons. You cannot prevail against chaos. Your soul is gone. I will destroy you.
There's something interesting about the Necrons. They do not have any units that have psychic powers. They also have, let's say no units, but in 8th, I think there's one unit that can select an ability that helps fight against psychic powers. I find that fascinating as a race. I mean, did Necron Tyr have the ability of psychic powers? But lost it when they became the Necrons? Interesting. No idea if that's covered in the lore, but it's an interesting topic in my opinion. I find it's not too often that I get stuck and encircled. This one I may have. Yeah, I'm stuck, which means I have to jump here. Which means I cannot jump yet. This is a problem, but the number of times I've done a speed run versus the number of times that I have gotten encircled there um, leads me down the path of do it. Go for this, and wait if you need to be. If it goes bad, try and make up for it later. I have no idea if we'll get another jump in time or not. It just, the risk appears worth it. Risk versus reward, you know? So, I put all 4 down here. I mentioned that I do that a little different. I think I've shown it. I like the approach. Look, come on, let's take out these 2 here. Powerful character units. Our Lord's about to go down, unfortunately. Sending 1 unit over there to get rid of that turret is so helpful. Ah, Lord went down. Yep. So now, my copy of the game it's a Steam version. There is a hard crash bug that if you go to skip the cutscene at the wrong time, that's it for the game. That is okay. What you want to do is wait till the screen is all black, if you have the same bug. The screen is all black and you hear a roar. Wait just a moment after the roar starts, then hit escape. If you're unsure if you have the bug, do a save before you attack this land. And then try and skip as fast as you can, and if it crashes now you know, and you also know how to avoid it. So it'd be in this point, well, not when I said, but black screen, roar. Yeah.
In the
There's just too many defenses happening. Okay, carefully. Done. There we go. Very nice. We need this because we will be attacked. We need at least 1. That's why. Oh, you're gonna be a tricky one, huh? Trying to attach the gun part to this of the sentry gun, you know, to the tripod. Difficult. So one player is gone, which got rid of some of the attacking force. I was looking for my phone there. Oh, hang on. No, that's tilted. I don't want that. This is an easy one to defend. As you can see, it's also an easy one to take. The map is very small. Wow, it's already 2 o'clock. Okay. This map, tricky isn't the right word. Due to its length, it can be a little time consuming. Even reduced damage doesn't take too much to take out those things. They are so weak. The turrets are naturally weak, like they don't seem to have a lot of armor or something. But yeah. Now, I feel to speed up this map would be you take the Wraith, send it to the player 1 location, and you take, you send the Lord to, player 2 location, and you'll be deep striking flayed ones at the player 1 location, mostly. Basically, the Wraith is very, very fast. But I seem to be having a really bad run here. We're getting sniped, which means our morale is perpetually down. They are stealth. So something to do there to help would be, well, get rid of the stealth. Yeah, I didn't take advantage of that. The pariahs are doing a pretty good job here. This is a very, overall, it's a very sloppy run. If I have a destroyer. Destroyer and Lord at player 2, send the Wraith to player 1, and Deep Strike Flayed Ones into Player 1. Seems to be all you need to do for this map. The rest of the elites, I send them out using the attack command, so anything that they come across, they will attack. So much of the map left.
Eldar rely on stealth and trickery where others trust in direct force and valor. An ancient and debate.
The wiping them out for the win condition is the better option. You can do that. It takes less time than doing the intended approach of capturing and holding for 10 minutes. Now, when I say destroy everything, I'm not referring to the entire map. I do not engage the orcs. I do not engage the chaos that are here. I instead only engage the Eldar on the upper portion of the map, which is to the northwest. That V kind of configuration. Or if you will, the Y. You go up the Y, go up a hill, and then you have the upper portion there. That's what you need to destroy. Now there's a lot up there, and it does take some time, but it's completely doable. To that end, I feel that my brain isn't working right now. Did I not have the requisition to bring anything? Building everything from scratch? Obnoxious. Okay, instead of using building destroyers, build the heavy destroyers. And the reason being for that is the damage they do to vehicles is phenomenal. Wow. You will devastate all the fire prisms. No, I don't mean just use that. Use a combination of things, but I was using, and it might be in this video, we'll find out. I was using the approach of destroyers with tomb spiders. No. They were basically getting taken out because the tomb spiders need to get in close to take on to maximize their damage and melee to take on the fire prisms. And if you have 4 fire prisms firing at a a tomb spider, it's not gonna last. It's just going to get ripped apart. So being able to shoot them, far more effective. So the goal here is to hopefully not lose our scarabs, and to hold this position, and that is to help with our population so that we can bring more. And what do we have here? Okay, let's take a look at this Marine from the AVP game. Okay. So this Marine has a stogie. Never heard that word before. Maybe you haven't. It's a cigar. The idea of this character almost seems to be like Apone from Aliens.
There's more than just pure
Kind of like the
Eldars
grizzled
here.
veteran
Who's right
sergeant
straight
who's
off
done
the
like
Gorguts' lot?
100,
Have us a proper
you know,
war
drops, what
right
have you.
here. War!
Anyways, yeah. So it looks like I just need to clean off the mold injection points.
We should use the squiggles on them. No, leave them be.
And there's no assembly
The
for this
squiggles ain't
one.
trained yet. I don't want to get stuck straight in bits of you after their feet.
I like to keep this handy for close encounters.
We
Shotgun.
then disappear.
I have always wanted a, there was a resin kit of the pulse rifle. I've always wanted one of those. I've only ever seen one in a store, and that was when I was younger, in my teen years. And it was $300 back then. And I can say back then, because I'm older now, yep. How many years would I have to shave off to get back to my teen years? More than 23. Yeah. You know, bringing that up, I want to bring something up. If you're young now, you're in your teens, you're watching this, you're even in your 20s watching this, just because you get older doesn't mean you have to give up games. Doesn't mean you have to give up these hobbies. If anything, these hobbies, you should be, what's a good word for it? Encouraging them, like nurturing them, because something is going on right now with baby boomers, where they're some have already retired, some are getting close to that age where they retire. They don't know how to. They don't know how to live, and a lot of them don't have hobbies. Games. There's so many different games out there. You never have to stop playing games. Oh, that's bad. So, nurture your hobby. As long as it does not interfere with life, keep it going. Right now, you know, since I'm disabled, I can't work. I'm equivalent, if you will, to say, I retired, I can't work. I can't do the job. So, I've come up with a whole bunch of different hobbies that I try and do. Actually, I'm doing 2 hobbies at the same time. Working on models, I love doing that, and doing this stuff. YouTube, that's a hobby. I like that hobby. It's a fun hobby. It's also a little frustrating, but I digress about that. So you know what? If you're interested in speedrunning, you come across this video and you're 50 years old, you're 60 years old, and you think maybe, no, I'm too old, my reflexes, who the hell cares? Do it. Have fun. If you're disabled and you think you can't speedrun, do it. Do it anyways. Try, learn, adapt. There's some fantastic equipment out there depending upon the disability. And there's even a young gentleman who is disabled who sometimes runs at Games Done Quick. He is, I don't know exactly, but he can only use one hand, I think? So he has like the controller on his leg, and the one hand is kind of doing everything. You know, it's a regular controller. Then there's the new Microsoft accessibility controller and all its components and stuff that they have put out. So give it a try. And if you're having fun with it, even if it's terrible times for speedrunning or, you know, difficult games or what have you, but you're having fun, keep it up. Doesn't matter how old or young you are. Go for it. There we go. Once the guns come in, you destroy the guns, you don't need to destroy the portals. Heck, I think the orcs will do it for you. So I just wanted to say that. It's like, yeah, it doesn't matter how old or young you are. Start your hobbies. Start nurturing them. It'll be fun. It'll be good. It's healthy. Did you know there are classes for baby boomers, basically on how to retire? That's basically what it is. How to retire, how to go from working full time to, well, you don't have to get up in the morning now. You're retired. So, yeah. They have classes to help baby boomers. Yeah. And there are some people that will choose to never retire. In Canada, used to be mandatory retirement 65 kind of thing. That was lifted. Lifted for most jobs, I'll put it that way. You know, things like the fire department has mandatory retirement at age 60. And that has to do with just the progression of the human body and how it breaks down as you get older. Like, I get it. That's understandable. But I think they may have lifted the mandatory retirement based upon age discrimination. Now, I could be completely wrong about that. But yeah, some people can choose to work full-time into their 70s and 80s. They're capable of doing the job. Doesn't matter. It's kind of cool. Then they added certain things where you can work part-time and you won't, if you work under a certain amount of hours, it doesn't affect your CPP, which is a Canadian pension plan. That's the government paying you pension. You know, things like that. And so, yeah, it's kind of cool that we have this stuff, that things have changed, that people can keep working or choose to work part-time or what have you. I like that.
Death will silence you, sorcerer. Necrons! The Eldar has tricked us.
Okay, well,
Destroy these mechanical
it's a little slow in
monstrosities,
this one. That's
and
why I was
then
talking
find
about
me
that stuff
ailing
apart.
witch.
If you take the time, if you're not doing a speedrun, okay? If you go take out the orc base and the chaos base that's on the map, what you get in return okay, sorry, just glued down that. What you get in return are extra elite units that do not count towards your population total, but you do not get to keep them after the map. They're temporary. Which I think is how another bug happens.
But the webway gates to your race ship are vulnerable.
Our course is clear then.
I was also
Protect
going
the
to talk about
gates
something
at all
else, but now I
costs.
forgot.
Without them, we may never
Like I
escape
mentioned
this
it
world.
earlier and said, when we
must
get to this
drive
point,
the
I'll talk
attackers
about it.
back.
And I don't remember what that was. Oh. So, what I am doing here is I want a monolith. That's what that comes down to. I want a monolith. Prepare the tomb spiders. To get the win condition, you do have to take out everything, so including these webway gates.
Craftworld Ulthway will never stop opposing you, Necron.
The analysis of your technologies is
Need to wait for that to
complete.
dry.
We know you cannot escape this world without your webway gates. We will take them from you and then purge this world of your race.
The enemy has taken a webway gate. Drive them back.
No, don't bother trying to drive us back. The webway gate thing that she's talking about, the win condition. You take 3 points, you hold it for 10 minutes, you win. You don't bother taking them. In my opinion, I believe that wiping everything out for that win condition is quicker. Let's get the next baggie and see what we have here. Oh boy. What were they thinking when they cast this? Oh jeez. That's all I can say is, oh jeez. Okay, so you are probably the heavy support there. Supposed to be, no, you're the same. You're supposed to be the medic, I think. idea. Oh, you have a flame. That is a flamethrower. There's tracker. Pulse rifle. Pulse rifle. Pulse rifle. And 2 arms. Oh boy. Now, I think this method for doing the take and hold victory, you know, getting the turrets up, is good. It's solid. However, there's the other method, which is better. And the instructions. Let's see what we got. You get the flamethrower. The medic gets the flamethrower. For best results, use acrylate adhesive. I think that's super glue. I'm pretty sure that's super glue. Let me see if I was right, if that gets a smart gun. Yes, you get the smart gun because you got that cool eye thing. And the one model that has a open mouth.
Never answer your call, outsider. Retreat now.
Why would we retreat since we are winning? Now the point of the turrets there, if you were wondering, simple spot stealth. That's it, is spot stealth. Okay. So you have the tracker. And I need to find the pulse rifle. That is being held by one arm. Nope, nope. Yes?
We cannot allow them to hold the gates for long. Show them no mercy, brothers and sisters.
Hold this for 10 minutes. At 3 minutes, something bigger happens. Not much. And this is, like, I knew from the very first that there is a better way to do this. I just didn't know what it was. And once again, I'm going to thank that young person in that stream that suggested, well, what's the victory condition for, you know, killing them all? Like, what's needed? And it's like, I don't know. And I happen to be just attacking everything for something to do instead of sit there for 10 minutes and got the condition. It's just, we got the condition. Now we have to experiment. But until that time, it's like I had no idea what could be done. And that was a little frustrating. Yeah, see, the orcs are still attacking us down there at a point that we held. I have a destroyer or 2 destroyers here when I should have 2 heavy destroyers. And so all this time setting up too. That's obviously I'm not going to say a waste of time. That's the wrong word. But all the time it takes to set up to do it this way is well, a lot of time. So attacking and wiping things out is obviously very beneficial. Now, something that you want to do is get rid of all their vehicle production buildings. There's 3 of them, and they put out fire prisms like crazy. There's also the other for like infantry. You want to get rid of those because it seems like at certain points, and I don't know precisely what those points are. Hi, Avatar of Cain. Nightbringer obliterates Avatar of Cain every time. I don't know what condition it is, but a whole pile of units kind of teleport in out of nowhere. So if you can quickly destroy production-based buildings, that will probably prevent it. And I say probably is because I really haven't tested that. That's it's only an assumption at this point. See that? You know, take out that fire prism, yeah, because they actually do a lot of damage. Now I should be taking the monolith and selecting that central there, that central construction area and weapon system. And systems. It's like, yeah, the prisms are bad, but we don't want them to reinforce. Also, it wouldn't take that much damage to do. It doesn't take a lot to take out the turrets that are in there, and they're heavy AoE. Well, there we go. We're getting there. See, I should be targeting the buildings and just let's get rid of the buildings. And well, and now I guess I should really change that. It's like I don't know. I don't know the most effective here as of yet. But now knowing, target the buildings. You need to target a few of the vehicles, power prisms to stop from getting taken out, yeah. But target the buildings to prevent those teleport in reinforcement things. Get rid of that, get rid of that, yeah. So, I'm almost there. Yeah, if we can just get rid of those, we're good. We're down to 2 minutes, but we've already destroyed their heavy hitter. That's the Avatar of Cain. I see they teleported in a whole bunch. I think that's connected to the clock. You know, seeing it in action? Yeah. So if it's connected to the clock, it might be possible to avoid it or limit it, depending, but I don't know the exact conditions, obviously, for that. We should be going after that vehicle production now. And did we lose our... We lost it. Now what happens is if a monolith takes too much damage, an awakened monolith takes too much damage, it will be sent back. It doesn't actually get destroyed. And so if you want to send it out again, you need to repair it. Or let it sit for a very long time because it regenerates. So here, I'm not actually going for destroy everything. It's more of, I'm going to do this instead of just sit here and do nothing for 10 minutes. So don't get the impression of, oh, this takes a lot to do and it's faster to do the other. No, that's not what's going on. It's me basically screwing around while I wait for the timer. Yeah, that's precisely it. Now I'm going for this. Okay, that's the bug. That's what I was going to mention, the bug. When you attack the Eldar, okay, if you attack them,
it was during the Horus
if you attack them as not the last race to take out, okay? When you get out of that, you will have lost all of your elites and you have to reselect them, like repurchase them. Now I believe that bug comes from the fact that you get additional elites on that map, or you can get them, and what they did is to prevent it from adding to the list on a permanent basis. They screwed up the code and basically went, okay, remove all elites instead of remove specifically this special spawn one and this special spawn one, and this. They took a shortcut and it costs now. So you need to be aware of that. Okay. Marine. You now have an arm. Colonial Space Marine. I think that's the full title. Whoa, that's a nice big gap there in the arm. Not much I can do about it. Bugger. Not too late. I could probably take the arm out, cut it down. No, I'm going to damage it if I try to pull it out. So let's attack everything, wipe it out. This is another kind of fun one, and it's like the win condition is kill. Here 140. On one map it said 146. I don't know why. Anyways, or one time it said 146. But it says basically kill 140 of the enemy. Or the other win condition is kill everything. I mean, either way you're working towards the same end. Kill everything. So it's a very pleasant type win condition where it is just attack everything. You know, you're going to either hit the 140 or there's going to be nothing left. So it's all good, really. Oh, you know what? Today I am doing much better. Side effect wise. Oh, that is just so powerful. Medication, but it works so good, so I'm not gonna stop using it for when I need it. Oops. Oh. Oh yeah. There, see, we've basically wiped out one player. We're now heading over, well, we've already started working on the other. And this is where the that attack command really, really shines. There we go. A little bit tricky to carve that piece out. So yeah, like,
You must kill more of them.
yeah, working on it there. Now, one downside is if some units get a little, enemy units get a little out there, hidden, that sort of thing, you have to do a bit of hunting, and that eats into your time. So hopefully you have a good force that is able to just rip through things quickly. Here I think I'm trying to find them, maybe? I don't know. No, it looks like we got some here. Okay. You know what's really disappointing about this, not this run or the Dawn of War, but the Aliens vs. Predator? All the Colonial Marines are male, and clearly in the movie, mix. So, my mind, it's like, yeah, there, 107 is all we got, and we wiped everything out. Oh, so we stopped there. Yeah. So anyways, it's like in the future, in the sci-fi setting, there is zero issues with female combatants and stuff like that. And there are none in here, and I know why they didn't do it. And it's just an annoying reason, and in my opinion, and that is simply we don't want to spend the money to create the molds for that. Oh, our morale is like gone. Wow, this arm is having a lot of trouble fitting in. Now, I should say I'm not so concerned at this point about the Lord losing morale when followed by a Tomb Spider. Tomb Spider does so much damage to the buildings that it's like, uh-huh. Okay, there we go. We finally got it. Now I can attach another arm. Okay, that's acceptable for me. We don't have any bases. I wonder where they are. Oh, right, they're in that other bag. Okay. So obviously the Tau are going to hit us. They have a lot. They got a broadside. Broadsides are nasty. So we'll lose that. That's broadside. Now in the models, there's the variant broadside. It has those large railguns along the top of the shoulders there. And slung under the arms are like missile launchers. The variant has that reversed, and it just looks so cool. You see, there's a lot more coming at us. So you would go like that. So we get another war gear. I'm trying to get in the habit of turning on the feature that lights up what we have control of, because it does make it much easier to see, both as a speedrunner and as a viewer. I don't do it enough. I think that is the best way to put it. I don't do it enough. Okay. So this one, I find that what is a nice approach, and of course I have changed it, but dividing up the force so that I would send a destroyer along with the Lord to player 1. Everybody else goes to player 2. Now, in the sense of changing it, I make sure that the Wraith, the Wraith that we send goes to player 2. And, yeah, there's an and that I am aware of its position so that when things, the enemy starts to come into range and stuff, pop the phase shift, get the Wraith over to the main building, and then use Deep Strike for the flayed ones. Now, the reason for the the reason for something that completely escapes me. I completely lost that. Hopefully it'll come back to me. Hopefully. Brain. Well, the reason why I would send a destroyer with the Necron Lord is for the advantage of shooting troops. The destroyer takes out the troops. Now I start to do that. Yeah. Yeah, I can pop it up to 5. And by doing that, like earlier on, I can hopefully consistently, I say hopefully because I don't know yet, consistently reduce how many defenses I have to deal with. And of course, that would go a very long ways for improving the speedrun time. Obvious reasons. The less you have to fight, the less time is spent, right? Okay. We should be able to take that out really quickly. Just one player or 2 players? I think it's 2 players. No, 1. Okay. I thought I made a mistake on that map. So by having that, I was able to defend, win the defense, didn't have to deal with it. As you can see, that is much faster, and that is an approach that should be done. Gotcha. That was a tricky bit to cut off. Now this one, if there's 2 players, I send all the elites to player 2, and the Necron Lord deals with player 1, along with flayed ones. Again, the focus there. Get rid of the turrets because of morale. Come on, there's the tomb spider. So getting the tomb spider on the building is more important than getting the Lord on the building. Let's see if I shows the, like, it's just a few attacks. There we go. You can see that getting the tomb spider is quite beneficial. Oops. No, I want to cut the plastic, not my fingernail. Okay. And one more injection point to clean. This map, yep, teleports straight up the middle, send the other forces here. Done. There have not been too many times when I've had to deal with 2 players here. So, we really haven't talked about it. Player 2 is in the west corner there. And you would teleport up there to deal with that first. That hurts. And that's something you have to be careful of. I believe my response was, ah, shit. Yeah. Because then, if you lose a territory, you have to spend time to get it back. Okay, let's see how this fits into... Where's the marine? Oh, over here.
When the tide of war turned against the Tau, they faced attack in their stronghold in the...
More work needed. You're going to have a rough opening.
Return to the grave
They,
that spawned you, monsters. Gladly, but first we must help.
They attack with some pretty heavy stuff. No broadside though, thankfully. But they have a crisis battle suit, which is quite good. Crew talks. I'm not worried about the vehicles. The vehicles kind of get obliterated. So yeah, it's like the Crutox is just it's a beast of a unit. Not as bad as the Narlox one. So what's a Narlox? Narlox is a T-Rex. That's a nice easy way to explain it. It's a T-Rex. So we took out the Crutox. It comes down here. But units took some big damage.
Crisis suits ready for combat.
The Kion post is safe in the crew quarter. We will defend it, Commander.
Excellent. Send strike teams at the enemy, but protect your positions.
Need to get rid of them. There we go. Okay. So, I'm not using it here, and I did say I would talk about it. And that building where you can get extra powers. Phase shift is really helpful here. As well as, it's right beside phase shift. Basically, you take damage and this bar builds up. And then you can release that. And I did that in last night's thing against Arnell. And I'd say about 90% of Arnell's life just gone. Absolutely gone. So the combination of those two, I say, are a must for this map specifically. Now, I'm not so sure about the Orc and Gorguts. That I have to experiment with. More experimentation, which I'm fine with. I want to teleport over here, and it's when I get to a point where I can teleport more into there. Thank you, Car. I would want to pop phase shift because of all this. So pop phase shift, you're not taking damage. And then if a teleport becomes available, you pop it, you jump towards that back corner, and you get it. You're in, and then you teleport in all your flayed ones. Like, it's far more efficient. What I'm doing here is, I would say, inexperience. It's not that I'm doing it wrong, I just didn't know. And it took some accidental finds, as well as intentional experimentation to see better options. So that's important. If you're watching this, you don't have to copy what I'm doing. If you're interested in trying. If you see something like, I wonder what would happen if this was done. Well, if you want to give it a try, please. You know, and that's what I do. Like, one advantage of watching these voiceovers, or watching the video while I do the voiceovers, it's going, here's a thought. I haven't seen that as a possibility before. So why don't I try that? And that's the kind of thing that is very beneficial, and that's what I've done. Or spur of the moment, just like, you know what? I'm just jumping into this territory right now. Have this idea. Let's change it and see what happens. That's the kind of fun thing of having a game that doesn't have a guide, doesn't have tons and tons of people playing it and influencers, and even like best world record kind of stuff that, you know, can't be improved upon even if you programmed it, and this kind of thing. Now we can experiment. We can experiment together. We can learn, and that's kind of cool. And I can also work on models. Uh-huh. We got our now. There we go. So we have 2 regular lands and the orcs left. There we go. Let's see how this fits. Okay, that works. There's a little bit of a better way of doing this, but I haven't done it yet. Really, I'm very much relying upon the tomb spider. As long as the tomb spider can get in there and on the building's gone. That's more or less how I see it. I have started to use the attack command for doing, well, the first player you take out there is player 2. The reason being is, okay, do a little bit of attacking using the attack command. The rest of the squad will come up when everybody gets close enough, click the base. And that's kind of the approach. Okay, arm. Need you to stay in the socket. You shifted out again. Uh-huh. Oh. No. You shifted up. Needs to go there. Okay, we'll try that. Hold it for a bit. Okay, this one is easier than it looks. Now, I did 2 jumps there. I have another method now, just on positioning, so that I can get to the base a little bit cleaner and not have to worry about things. Morale's dropping like a stone, but then so is the base there. Or is that a settlement? I think it's a settlement. Yeah, I was right. Settlement. Okay. And now we have this here, Tomb Spider, on just so much damage. Ridiculous.
Those opposing
So,
Warlord
obviously
Gorgas
we are
and
on
his Green Tide
the
faced
last
the
here.
same challenge the Tau had faced
So
on
how
Crown.
much time is left in the video?
Death has
Not much
arrived.
at all.
We come for you. Death.
At the main base here, there's
Metal boy.
3 tanks.
All life on this planet. Once
Looted
before,
Lehman Russes, they're called.
we will do so
And
that was before me war got here.
I am very much
The ones doing the stuff.
leaning in the direction of focus on the tanks, destroy the tanks, and then take out Gorguts. Now, the reasoning behind that is the tanks have an attack that causes knockdown. That's mainly it. However, I'm beginning to think that maybe the technique that I found for taking out Arnell, if I can use it consistently and successfully on Gorguts, that would be faster than taking out the tanks and taking out the then taking out Gorguts. And it would be consistent in the sense that the I think the damage is kind of a flat thing of the ability.
What you doing, Rocket Rangers? They's coming for ya.
Hate that bug. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and let myself get attacked. I don't know why that. I should have found that one in QA. Seems like a pretty basic one. Happens nearly every fight. Knockdown.
The squig is loose. Clear out, boys. Oh, no. You burn a boy gets. They's right there. Get a burning.
You got the tanks there, and yeah.
Go all nice on me pointy stick. Kill 'em, lads. We are your end, alien. If you mean the enemy pointy stick, I'm right there with you. Ha ha ha! Your bravado will not save you. You just keep on talking, Yumi. I'll get to you soon enough. Here they come, foot stompers. Keep the trainer safe. I don't want no squigget stomping our boys.
I'm going to have to mess around with the abilities. Do it enough times to feel as if it's consistent. And we'll see how things go. Like, maybe I can go the approach of actually the fight of Arnell, where I just put down all the flayed ones. The flayed ones deal with this, and I take the Lord and go after Gorguts. Just the Lord. And use the ability on him. Like, you see, I'm just... It's like, okay, we're not doing too good here. Let's get rid of that tank. Well, that's one tank down. That's a start. All of that fighting, and we haven't done a lot of damage. See, either it goes really well, currently it either goes really well or really poorly, unless if I take out those tanks. This is very much a bad run. Or a bad fight right now, in my opinion. It's just getting knocked around and all this kind of stuff. And they have the mech boys, which do a lot of damage. They're very powerful units. And that's also frustrating when you go to teleport inside and puts it on the outside of the fence. You'll have to watch for that. Well, as you can see, it's like trying to figure out how to defeat the tanks and defeat Gorguts at the same time. And I have a bit of work to do on that. And that's one way, get rid of the damn tanks. So I'm going to wrap it up here because just a few minutes left, and go from there on to the next one. So I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you are new to the channel, you can do the whole subscribe thing, bell notification, all of that stuff. Also, there's a few links in the description down below should you wish to check that out. But until next we meet, please do be safe, everyone. Bye.
Boss? Who is getting shot up?
Ain't you the master of the obvious? Use explosives.
Tell what?
The bomb, you git. The bomb.
Two, one.